Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. My name is Jesse Milestone, and Birds of Prey was a big fat flop. So bad, in fact, that they had to change the title, or felt they needed to change the title of mere days into its being released, changing it from something that was really bad to something that's actually kind of worse. I mean, yeah, no denying, Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn is a big fat mouthful, but at least it rolls off the tongue kind of easily, whereas as opposed to Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey is just weird, jolting, awkward, and adds more spotlight even to a concept that most of us have no relationship or connection to. The vast majority of us are not familiar with Birds of Prey as a comic book canon thing, and won't be until we see the movie, which we're probably not going to do since no one's going to see it apparently. But why are we talking about this? Why are we having this discussion? Why are we going after this movie that I personally haven't even seen yet? Okay, so I was going to. I think I still am actually. I'm more inspired. I was going to just I'll check it out, see what's what. Didn't have a lot of heart in that idea. And now the more I'm reading about it, the more I'm intrigued because I thought I could just write this off. It's a big fat woke piece of trash based on all the advertising, all the marketing. It's failed, and we can just write it off, throw it in the trash heap with Ghostbusters 2016, move on, never think of it again. But everything I'm reading is asking for me to give pause and take a second look. I mean, there was an entire article that somebody wrote about the adoration given to a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich early on in this film, and this meaning that it had to the character of Harley Quinn early on, and the hyperbolic devastation of its subsequent untimely demise, and how that resonates with all of us because it's something we can all relate to. It's a delicious sandwich that's pretty much universally liked by people who are human beings, i.e. not vegan, that, we can all relate to that feeling, that sensation, I'm hungover and I have this thing and now I fell on the floor and oh my god, the world is ending, and how that just reels us in to this weird, bizarro world and this weird, bizarro character in these extreme situations, and that it grabs us at the visceral level and brings us along. I've read that article and I was like, wow, I'm buying this. I'm buying this what you're writing here. The way he wrote about the scene, how it's shot with Food Network quality when they're preparing just the simple sandwich and all that. I'm like, that sounds like a really fun design choice. I'm reading more about this director, Kathy Yen, Chinese director that they brought on, who's only done, or Chinese American, I don't remember. Anyway, she's originally from China. And how her work, how the aesthetic from her original independently created film made them want to use her in this, and how her skills coming from that independent background actually helped her work on a lower budget DCEU set. And I'm like, that's really interesting. I'm kind of intrigued by this. Read one person's take, talked about sexuality and how queerness is handled in the film, and doesn't. It's not what I clicked on this article fully ready for this. Like, oh my god, here we go. It's either not going to be good enough, and it's so offensive, the use of these stereotypes, or it's been one of those, there was gay, everyone was the best thing ever. And what I got actually was a dissection of the different film's characters and how their sexuality and queerness is presented in a very understated way that we don't beat us over the heads with it. We have a reference to Harley Quinn being having had a female partner at one point. We have some chemistry between her and another character, and that character is an ex-girlfriend, and even there's apparently some homoerotic overtones in the two main villains, and so all of that is in there to talk about how it's all put in there in a way that doesn't bash over the head with the way we used to tell story, where we're not like, oh, by the way, this character's this thing, but it's just, hey, here are these characters, they do these things, la 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 la. We don't have to point fingers and go, look, they're gay, everybody check out how gay this character is and give us a round of applause for making gay characters. So I'm really intrigued by that. Oh, we have a presentation that's subtle and understated. I read something else that talked about the use of misogyny in the film, because she's obviously getting over a toxic relationship. And now you're already right from the get-go, okay, you're dealing with a woman who's getting out of an abusive relationship, a toxic relationship, and so revisiting these ideas of what is it about the relationship that makes it harmful is not out of place in a film like this. But I was reading something else that talked about how those dynamics are brought in really subtle ways. It's a theme that's important, that's woven throughout the film as this Harley Quinn character discovers herself, actualizes, and learns what she don't need no man, I guess. But that it's woven in ways that, you know, are not just on the nose all the time, not just hitting you in the face. And I'm like, well, all that sounds good. All that sounds like what I want out of a movie. If you're going to put these elements in there, I want them to be woven in a subtle way that doesn't smack me in the face all the time, but I can see that it's there. There's cohesion to it. There's a story that's being built out of something real. You know, one of the biggest complaints that I've heard critically about this film is just the underutilization of this whole birds of prey concept, that everyone else is sort of this backshadowing supporting cast to Harley Quinn, which is something that you can really see. It got confused in the marketing as well. And it's like, why did you call this movie Birds of Prey if there's such a secondary component to this film? So that's right there where we seem to start to go wrong. And like I said, you had the woke marketing, the woke ass marketing campaign for this film was, you know, we haven't seen anything like this since Captain Marvel. And it just seems now, after everything I'm reading, why did you do this? I mean, you're talking about a film that was pushed aggressively as you know, calling out misogyny and Hugh McGregor on talk shows being like, yes, misogyny, and we're part of the problem, or the evil toxic men all the time. When you have this direct quote from Kathy Yen that seems to completely contradict that entire concept as it spread through the movie. She talks about not wanting to push those themes too heavily. And in fact, the movie pulled in a 53% male audience. So obviously, this film itself is not alienating men in spite of all of the efforts of the campaign. But again, this is something, when I read a quote like this makes me want to go see the movie. So you have director Kathy Yen saying, ideally, I hope the movie would be seen as not alienating to the other half, that being men. It had to be fun for everyone and enjoyable. Wow, what a novel concept. I don't think we were too vicious or antagonistic or aggressive in any way. We don't want it to be alienating. That doesn't serve us. Wow, that level of intelligence that we're seeing from the director of this film, the female director of this film, that we rarely see right now in the rest of Hollywood. So maybe it's a great thing. Maybe it was the best thing that they brought in this outsider director to do this film, somebody who's not beholden to the current, you know, woke narrative that's going on everywhere, because she actively stated everything that I think you and I want to hear when we go into a movie like this. If we go into a movie like this, where, you know, we're concerned, we're frightened, we're a little afraid, okay, this seems like it could be like very heavy on the feminism, to have the director out and say, we weren't looking to alienate the men. We weren't looking to antagonize them as a group. We weren't looking to point out all of their flaws as a group. We weren't looking to lump them into one big group and say, screw you guys, this isn't for you. We were looking to make a movie that's for men and women that they can both enjoy. Something that was fun. Something that was enjoyable to watch. Because at the end of the day, it's a superhero film. You can use real themes. You can use real story and character elements, things that we experience and go through to bring us into the story. But at the end of the day, your movie's not here to change the world. It's here to give us a good goddamn time. And it seems like this director actually understood that. So why, Warner Brothers, why did you run around acting like this was the pinnacle of wokeness? Why did you run around acting like this was trying to dovetail off of the success of Captain Marvel? I mean, were you around for that? Like, sure, the movie made a lot of money. It was very successful, but it pissed a hell of a lot of people off in the way that it was marketed. So why, when you have a director who's actively stating this movie's for everybody, this movie's for men and women, we didn't want to alienate the other half? When you have a movie where you did such painstaking work, it feels like the studio right here, the marketing team, is directly undercutting the work that the filmmakers did in creating something that was fun and not alienating, that was fun and not overly woke, overly in your face. And again, I'm basing all this solely off of reviews, and again, the statement from the director, I'm liking what I'm hearing for that. That's enough to make me want to go see it. Having not seen it, it could be a woke piece of trash. I'm not discounting that. I'm not, you know, everyone could just be completely wrong about it. It could be a woke piece of trash. But I'm willing to give it a shot, right? Because I'm actually learning about the film now. And for some reason, the marketing took me so far out of that. And you have other things. It's not just the wokeness that might have hurt it, right? You have, this is the follow-up to Suicide Squad, which was a box office success, but largely a critical failure. People did not like this movie. So you have a complicated tightrope to walk here. Because on the one hand, you run the risk of alienating people who hated Suicide Squad, who don't want to go see it. You're talking about something, okay, your box office success to box office failure. So how much of this is that Last Jedi and Solo relationship, where The Last Jedi made bank at the box office, but then the next Star Wars movie to come out flopped hard because people were just not having it. So you have to examine that. Look at that. Okay, so, Suicide Squad didn't make a ton of money, but people kind of hated it and may not want to go see a movie that's associated. Or it could be the other way around. Maybe they disassociated too hard. Maybe Suicide Squad has enough of a following. Maybe setting it in that same universe is enough of a draw that people are going to want to go see it. Maybe they feel like, oh, I'm probably going to go see Suicide Squad 2, so I should see this one to see if it's related. But then they come out saying things like, it's not. It's totally unrelated. It's like the Joker. It stands alone. Or Joker. It stands alone. Does it not? I mean, you're dealing with the same character here, so it's very confusing the way this is being put out. How related? This seems to be a direct follow-up to Suicide Squad in the sense that it takes place afterwards. It seems related to some of the themes that were going on in there, at least for Harley Quinn's character, and moving on from that point. So when we go into Suicide Squad 2, is that going to be after this movie? Before it? Is Harley Quinn going to be in Suicide Squad 2? Is she going to have gone through what she goes through in this movie for that movie? Like, it's very unclear. What they're doing with their timeline is very unclear. So you're having another marketing ding, right? You're pushing the wokeness. You're alienating men in the way you're just marketing the film alone, taking someone like a very masculine figure like Ewan McGregor and having him spew things about misogyny and whatnot that really turns people off. People who might otherwise like to go see a movie with Ewan McGregor might go see a movie for Ewan McGregor. And now you have this complicated relationship with Suicide Squad, this very unclear relationship. They didn't bother to make more clear at all. So you're dealing with that. You're dealing with, again, this Birds of Prey, attaching this title to it that's not drawing people in. Just make it the Harley Quinn movie. Put her name on it. Make it more just her. So we're not confused about what's the Birds of Prey thing. What's the this? What's the that? Like, I'm going to be perfectly honest. People talked about the Harley Quinn movie and talked about Birds of Prey way back when it was first announced. I thought those were two separate things. Because you're Birds of Prey, and then, the Harley Quinn movie, like, well, what? So that's words for you. So it's a very, very confused marketing, which again is undercutting some clearly hard work by this director. You have also, if you read about it, it was Margot Robbie and somebody, I guess the woman who wrote it, actually, even before Suicide Squad was even finished, were already working on this film, and we're diving into the comics, reading the comics, going to the cartoons, going to the works. You people going to the original, materials, doing the work to put something together that makes sense, that fits in this universe. You have, from what I understand, very solid performances from both Margot Robbie, Ewan McGregor, and the whole rest of the cast. And so why would you undercut this? Why would you destroy this by doing something like peddling this with a narrative that's proven time and time again doesn't make money? When are you going to get it through your heads? I mean, it's all great to be woke and to be, in touch with the culture and whatnot, but clearly the culture doesn't want this. The money talks, not the vocal minority that runs around screaming BS on the internet. The money is what talks. And speaking of the vocal minority screaming BS, running around spewing BS on the internet, my God, and this is one of the reasons why it's so difficult to find a way forward, is because the people who do latch on to an IP like this and are devoted to it and are dedicated to it are effing crazy. Because right now you have this pathetic and clearly a failure of a campaign, but a campaign no less, this trolling campaign on the internet where people are probably the same person making a bunch of different accounts because they're writing literally the same thing, and a whole bunch of other people trying to say some nonsense about how, like, oh, Suicide Squad, I took my kids to see Sonic and it was homophobic and racist, so we went to see Suicide Squad instead. It was a much better time. It's like repeated over and over on Twitter. It's hilarious. You can check it out. Sonic isn't even out yet, so BS, nonsense. Also, Sonic is a movie for kids. This is an R-rated film, so this idiotic nonsense of these people, that the lengths people are willing to go to just rather than admit, it wasn't that good. Or you liked it, but maybe someone else would just go talk about how good the movie was. It doesn't have to be all tearing down, but we're so engrossed in this as a culture. We have to tear something else down in order to make our thing feel good. Just talk about how good it is. When you're marketing it, stop tearing men down. Stop just talking about how good the movie is. Don't worry about this complicated relationship with Suicide Squad. Just tell us where it fits into the timeline. Be very clear about that, and then let the work stand for itself. If you did good work, allow it to stand for itself, please. I mean, you had the same thing with Ocean's 8. It was trying to do the same woke bullshit nonsense. Oh, we're the female Oceans movie. If you saw the movie, which I finally eventually did, it really just runs as a direct sequel to the Oceans franchise. So just call it a sequel. Just be like, oh, the next in the Oceans installment. Forget about focusing on the fact that it's women. And if you go see the movie outside of, I think, one or two lines here or there, it was not woke at all. There's nothing woke about it. It was nothing uber feminist about it. And it honestly wasn't that bad. Was it Ocean's 11? No, of course it wasn't. But was it as good as, like, maybe Ocean's 13, maybe a little better than Ocean's 13? Sure. It was a solid sequel. It was a solid thought. It was a lot of fun. There were a couple little, technical issues in the running of the plot, but for the most part, it was a perfectly fine, perfectly watchable, perfectly fun film. So I don't understand why cinemas, production companies are so afraid to let the work stand for itself. You hired good people, you hired good actors, you took the time to research your story to make something that was palatable for everybody, and you put out a good product. So why would you undercut that by trying to turn it into something that's not? Trying to capitalize on some brief flash in the pan niche cultural trend that has proven time and time again it doesn't make money. I mean, I thought that was the whole thing about Hollywood. Go where the money is. So I don't understand how Warner Brothers has gone so far off the rails. Because quite frankly, they've killed what is, for all intents and purposes, a perfectly decent, watchable movie. It just makes no sense. Sorry about the weird cut there. My phone is stupid. And yeah, so that's what's up. That's what's going on. That's, from what I can understand, why this movie flopped. It's nothing to do with the actual quality or making the film itself, but the idiotic desire to pander to a crowd that doesn't spend its money on their movies. So that's dumb. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, make sure you press the like button. Let me know about it, throw it in the comments, etc. Share with people, do things, do all of those fun things. If you like my channel, make sure you check me out on Patreon. For just $1 a month, you get 2 additional videos, including Social Justice Wednesday. It's hilarious. You'll like it. You also, for $2, you get all the content I would normally put on here, including a new weekly segment where I just complain about the most stupid person or stupid people in my life at the moment. So that'll be a lot of fun. Anyway, definitely go check that out. And God Empress out. Oh, wait! God Empress back. Follow me on social media. On Twitter at Jesse Milestone. On Instagram at Mindless Entertainment. Now God Empress out. Bye.